Real estate is undoubtedly always a fascinating and intriguing topic because no matter how much our society inevitably changes over the years, there is a constant commonality among all people. We need living space, we need a roof over our heads, and an advantage for everyone who wants to invest their money because that has always made real estate investments a lucrative opportunity. And in this context, location always plays a very, very important role. In today's video, you'll find out where renting or buying makes more sense, and you'll learn how you can. Use two completely free tools to assess the location of real estate in cities that are currently completely unfamiliar to you in just a few minutes. Welcome to the new YouTube video from Saver to Investor. My name is Fabian Schuster, and my vision is to narrow the gap between the rich and the poor a little bit. How can we achieve this? When I'm not sitting here in front of the camera, I work as a managing director and independent consultant at our company, Capri Consult. And over the past 10 years, we have helped more than 500 people build and maintain high 6, 7, or even 8-figure assets. And a part of all this knowledge is made available to you here completely free of charge. And that's probably why you're here, to make better financial decisions, to get inspiration, or simply to further educate yourself so that you can work better on building your wealth and financial independence. And that's exactly what we're going to do now. Focus recently conducted a nationwide calculation comparison in Germany to answer once and for all the question, where is it more financially worthwhile to rent? And where should one rather buy a property? What is cheaper? A brief disclaimer up front. This article from Focus is aimed at occasional buyers, those who buy a property once in their lifetime, and we will closely examine these results shortly, but we won't be discussing buying a property to live in it ourselves. Instead, we are always focused on the investment perspective. Even though Focus is an established medium, the diligent editors, just like us, do not have a crystal ball to predict how things will develop, so it should be taken with caution. But let's start with the most obvious. How could one talk about rental and property prices without immediately thinking of our beloved city of Munich? The Bavarian capital is known nationwide for having the highest property prices currently in Germany, both in terms of buying and renting. Nevertheless, Focus has recommended renting instead of buying here. It sounds strange, but according to the calculations, it also makes sense. Let's take an example. For a 92 square meter apartment, you pay an average monthly rent of 1,762 euros here. After 40 years, that would be approximately 1 million euros. A buyer, according to Focus's calculation, would pay nearly 1.5 million euros for the same property, including interest. So here you have an advantage of about 400,000 euros for the renter. This also means that those who have saved enough equity to pay the lowest possible interest rates can expect high rental income in the long term through an investment, thus making a profitable business. However, it cannot be generally concluded that buying in areas where people tend to rent is always the right choice. In North Friesland, for example, renters pay an average of 8.08 euros per square meter for their living space, while investors have to pay an average of 7,977 euros per square meter. Over 40 years, this results in a difference in favor of the renters of 850,000 euros. This shows that while such calculations can be very useful for private occasional buyers, they should not be the only criterion for investors when considering a real estate investment. They serve merely as, let's say, additional information when researching the suitable or perfect location for a real estate investment. But what does the perfect location look like now? To determine this, factors such as landscape, infrastructure, quality of life, and job prospects play a crucial role. If all these factors are perfect, it is referred to as a purple location. In this context, not just a single house or apartment is considered, but the entire surroundings. This is relevant for investors because a property with the purple location offers especially promising future prospects as the area around the property provides a lot of potential. In terms of landscape, this means a particularly high appeal, for example, through beautiful nature, such as a location near the Alps or the Baltic Sea, but also aspects like proximity to a river or without the risk of flooding or nearby recreational areas. All these can be factors that influence the location of the property. Infrastructure considers public transport connections as well as the distance to shopping facilities and other areas of daily needs. Here comes my first practical tip. Go to Google Maps and enter the AO address of the desired investment property. I have demonstrated the whole thing here. I have created a screenshot for all podcast listeners included in the show notes. You can simply click on it, and all YouTube viewers can now see when you enter the location. Then there is the tool, surroundings. And now you can look around the area. For example, if you have a family apartment, how many schools are nearby? How many minutes by car or on foot is it away? Which supermarkets are there? What leisure activities are available? Where is the nearest stop? You can test all of this completely free of charge with the surroundings tool from Google Maps. And you can also explore completely unfamiliar cities and locations to see what is nearby and what might be interesting for my target tenant group. Let's move on to the third point, quality of life. Quality of life goes a step further and deals with leisure activities like cinema and theater, but also topics like peace and safety. Factor 4, the work factor, refers to job prospects in the region. An area with many jobs and where jobs are being created gradually improves the infrastructure and leisure offerings. And here comes my second practical tip. You can use the Prognos Future Atlas completely free of charge. I will include a link to it in the show notes here. All YouTube viewers now see a screenshot of the Prognos Future Atlas. And so you can relatively easily find out in just a few minutes, if you want to focus on a specific area, what the future prospects are, how this area's prospects look, whether they are more positive or more negative in terms of dynamics and so on. Just take a closer look at it. It is very, very interesting and very revealing what can be discovered about investment locations. For example, my hometown and also one of my favorite investment locations around Dresden offers very, very good future prospects. A really good investment location meets at least 3 of these 4 factors. So now you have learned what is important to find the perfect location. You know how to differentiate between different locations, and you also know how to do it remotely in just a few minutes. Using these 2 tools, Google Maps and Prognos Zukunftsatlas, you can quickly find out in unfamiliar cities how to assess the factors, job opportunities or leisure activities, the landscape, and also the infrastructure. How you can quickly find out whether the investment object also fits your target group. What do I mean by target group? You want to rent out and, for example, you want to rent out a 4-room apartment with a terrace, then probably a family will move in. Then you know exactly what you need to look for. Simply use common sense here. What does a family need to have nearby to make it an attractive location for them? In contrast, a room, an apartment where a single person moves in, what is interesting for this single person? What might be important for them? You can also figure this out very, very quickly with common sense. You have learned all of this today, and I hope you enjoyed the episode. Feel free to share this with your friends who might be currently dealing with the topic of real estate investment. This is knowledge that is absolutely practice-oriented, and you will receive a lot of gratitude for it. If you enjoyed the episode, then give me a thumbs up on YouTube or a positive rating on the podcast. This in turn helps other newcomers and listeners to become aware of the podcast and is extremely valuable to me, as it motivates me even more to produce new content for you. Definitely subscribe to our channel because next week there will be another exciting new episode. And if you're not making much progress with real estate investment, or you're wondering how to find the right location or the right properties, perhaps in your desired area, then feel free to contact us through our contact form. I have linked it for you here in the description. And I can gladly recommend advisors in your area who can help you further so you can quickly reach your goal and secure your intact retirement plan. See you soon, your Fabian.